What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I've got a sick 4Runner behind me that is not mine. So today we're doing a build walk around with my buddy James. He's got this awesome 4Runner. And so driving behind him every day for the last almost week, I've decided to move up to 35's and do a bunch of other stuff to my rig that I wasn't gonna do before. But hopefully you guys enjoy his build. It's so sick because it's way cooler than mine. And I want to be able to help you guys to see other rigs that are out there and not just mine, and kind of show more rigs that are in the 4Runner community. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this build video. Go check it out.
What's up, guys? My name is James. I'm out here with my 2006 Toyota 4Runner. I have the V8 model, and today we're gonna do a walkthrough for you guys and show you guys what I have done and built on this vehicle. All right, guys, so on my truck, I personally am running the Black Rhino Rapid wheels. They're sitting on a -18 offset, which is great because it helps me fit my 35s and not rub my upper control arm. I do rub on my frame a little bit, so I do like the -18 because they do stick out a little bit, but I don't want too much offset, due to the fact that I don't want to wear out my wheel bearings. On my Black Rhinos, I am wrapped in a Kenda Cleaver RT. I've absolutely loved these tires. We've done some pretty good rock crawling in them, and they've been really sticky. They're quiet on the highway. They look more aggressive and are more aggressive than an all-terrain tire, but I've run mud terrains, and honestly, I've kind of transitioned from rock crawling to overlanding, so the RT is fantastic. They've got an awesome sidewall, which is great. They're a 35 by 12.5 by 17 inch. One thing that's really great about this wheel as well is it looks like a 16. So it almost looks like I'm running a 16 on my 35, which is my favorite setup. In terms of suspension, I'm running the Dobinson MRR kit on my truck. I came out of the IMS, which was an absolutely awesome kit, but I had the opportunity to go MRR'S, and man, I have loved the upgrade. The 3-way adjustable kit is absolutely awesome. The high speed and low speed compression has really helped me dial in the truck, but also just being able to run proper rebound is really nice, especially as I constantly modify my truck between ride height and differentiating on weight. It really helps when I'm driving around, especially because I do not run a front sway bar. And that actually has some benefits. That's actually kind of intentional to give me a little bit more travel in the between my IFS system as I'm kind of rock crawling, but also doing a little bit more intense overlanding. I guess rock landing is kind of the new thing that people are talking about. On my MRR'S, I am running the Dobinson spring. I am running the teal spring, and I don't remember exactly what the rating is. I know that it's between 200 and 400 pounds up front, which has been absolutely awesome. I probably will go a little bit heavier in the future because I will be getting a winch on the front of my truck. I am running the SPC upper control arm, and there is kind of a love-hate relationship with these SPCs. They help clear 35's, which is really great. Honestly, they ride so smooth. I can't tell you how many times I've just been flying through, 40, 50, 60 miles an hour and just eating up the whoops with these things. Now, the ball joints do go out on these things. Overall, it's just an SPC problem. I'd love for them to upgrade that. I'm actually looking at mine right now and can tell that I do need to replace my ball joints again, which kind of sucks. But the SPCs have been great, other than the fact that the ball joints go bad on these things. On the rear of my truck, I still am running the Dobinson MRR'S, same as the front. The only main difference here is you don't get the same amount of adjustability, but which is fine. I am running the Dobinson 749 rear coils, so they're rated for, I think, like 700 pounds, which is great because that holds my rear bumper, my spare, my jerry cans, my drawer system, and it's done a fantastic job. Between the high and low rebound adjustment, I've gotten this thing to ride incredibly smooth. For my trailing arms, I've actually upgraded them from the stock ones to Core 4x4. I bent my passenger side trailing arm down in Moab, Utah when I was wheeling out there with my wife and some buddies. And so my truck was actually driving sideways for a bit. So I upgraded to the Core 4x4 rear trailing arms, and I honestly had no idea how much of a difference it would make. They're quite a bit beefier than the stock ones, but it rides so much smoother. I was really blown away at how smooth those rear trailing arms have made this truck. I am running a Panhard correction kit that I picked up from 4R Customs. That helps compensate the lift that I have on this truck, helps the truck drive straight, gives me even travel, and they're really not hard to put in. It is a weld-in kit, but it only took us about 20 minutes to weld that whole thing in. It fits in like a puzzle piece, and you just drop out the Panhard, weld it in, bolt it back in. I haven't actually painted mine yet. I need to do that, but super easy kit. I definitely am grateful for 4R Customs for sending that over to me, and it's really cleaned up the ride on this truck a lot. For my front bumper, I am running the DeMello off-road front bumper. It's been super awesome. I've actually gotten some people that think it looks super good, but they're worried about the clearance. And honestly, this thing has an insane approach angle. I've never done anything where I've even come close to scraping this bumper. Inside the bumper, I am running the Baja Sport fog lights. They've been awesome. No complaints there. Baja makes a fantastic product, but everybody already knows that. Definitely worth the money. But this bumper has been awesome. I don't have a winch in it yet, so I need to do that. And then I need to actually add on the bumper reinforcements as I add the winch. One thing I do like about this bumper is it is high clearance, but it's not so high clearance that I had to relocate my washer reservoir. You can see it right here, and I've mostly painted it black, so it's actually still pretty hidden. So I haven't relocated it yet, but maybe that's a project for a future day. But I think this bumper really looks awesome on this vehicle. I love that the side lines up perfectly with the 06. With the 03 to 05, it's probably gonna be a little bit wide, but I like that it lines perfectly flush with the side of the vehicle. I think it looks really good. It just kind of ties the front end of this truck together. For my headlights, I'm running a headlight that's built by 4R Customs. I've been working with them on a prototype headlight that we're actually gonna be releasing out to all the 4th gens, but it's a pretty simple headlight, which I like. I mean, there's a lot going on here, so I think simplicity really helps keep the truck looking clean. Just a single hex halo on the outside, then a circular halo with a turbine. What makes these headlights unique opposed to most other 4th gen headlights is they're actually quad projector low beam and high beam. They have a really good cutoff so you don't blind oncoming drivers, but they're insanely bright, which is really nice because a stock headlight for these things should be illegal. It is so bad. So 4R Customs definitely did a good job with these headlights. I got this grille from 4R Customs as well. They do offer some different ideas and whatnot you can do with your Toyota lettering. I just like the simple Toyota lettering. They have a couple things that they are going to be releasing, which I'm excited to see what they do. For my snorkel, I'm running the Dobinson's snorkel. There are obviously other snorkels on the market, but at the time I had actually just hydro locked my engine. So I was in the middle of an engine rebuild in my garage, and I knew I was spending some good money to get the engine built right and clean. And I didn't want to ever go through that again. I do a lot of river crossings, and I hit a lot of puddles pretty hard. I wheel this truck pretty good, and I really wanted to make sure that I was going to be good for the future. So I threw on the Dobinson snorkel. I was a little bit worried about how it was going to look, but after I threw it on, I was super hyped about it, especially against the Luna Rock wrap. I think it just looks super clean. I'm not running the pre-cleaner on it because I don't love the look of the pre-cleaner. I definitely know that it's a huge functionality. It's huge. I know that it could definitely save your engine, but this snorkel has already saved me enough as it is. I really like the look of it, despite what I originally thought, so I'm really happy with it. For sliders, I'm running the RCI sliders. I got them from a buddy of mine. Shout out to Trevor Knudsen. But so I'm running those sliders, and I actually have the RCI front skid plate as well. These sliders are the bolt-ons. I would like to get them welded on, but I wanted to make sure that I got my frame looking really good and feeling really good before I did that. They've been fantastic. I've actually only come down on them once, but I mean, it's a whole lot better and a whole lot cheaper to run sliders than it is to crush your door. They're also pretty functional when you need to climb up on them. If I need to get up on top of my tent to adjust something. The other thing I really like about these sliders is I do like the shape. They're skinny in the front and they flare a little bit in the back. I think it just kind of gets some cool contrast to the truck. Gives us some more shape and some a little bit of tone, I guess you could say. For my rear bumper, I am running the CBI 4th generation 4Runner rear bumper. I actually tracked this bumper down for 4 years before I could find one. This one is built for a 1-inch body lift, so I do run a body lift on my car. It's a 1-inch. If I had the choice, I'd take it out, but I can't with this bumper. This bumper is extremely high clearance despite what a lot of people think. It only sits about an inch below, not even a full inch below the rear cross member. You maintain your rear cross member, which is super nice. Looks super good. You get a lot of clearance. My favorite thing about this bumper is that it goes all the way up to the body. I didn't have to do any chopping of the original bumper, which does look good, but I didn't have to do any chopping of the original bumper to make it fit or anything like that. When I bought this bumper, it actually was like pretty rusty and in pretty rough shape, so I did have to sand it down, and I got it looking really good before we took it to the powder coating and got it powder coated. It didn't come with a swing out. The previous owner wasn't running the swing out on it, so I actually built this swing out for my truck. One of my really good buddies, Carson Olmstead, has this same swing out, so I modeled the swing out after his truck because I did like the CBI original swing out, but they weren't willing to actually make me one for my truck. So I called up a couple buddies and my brother, and we built the swing out. In the back of my truck, I do have a custom built drawer system. I had a buddy help me out, and we built something that was pretty similar to a couple of the other drawer systems that were out there, but we actually made the kitchen side a bit wider than a lot of the other drawer systems that you see, due to the fact that I have some other storage options. I have the Moly panels, so I was able to not need the full thing for storage, which is great. We cook on this thing quite a bit. This surface is huge. I mean, it's hard to tell on camera, but this is about 2 feet by about 4 feet wide for this table, which is really awesome when you're cooking for cutting up and whatnot. I love to cook, so that's really great. It's definitely not finished, so don't judge it. It's not pretty right now. I'm gonna put Formica on the top of here so I can easily wipe it off and basically just have it be a standard countertop. For the drawer slides, I opted for, I believe they're called Vevor or something like that. It's an Amazon brand. They're 500-pound slides, and the reason I did that is because I intentionally didn't want to have to put a foot out of the bottom of my drawer system, because when I'm traveling around with this thing, I want this thing to be as simple, as fast, as minimalistic as possible. So I opted for the 500-pound drawer slides, and this thing is crazy robust. Very happy with how it's turned out. We didn't just use screws, we used wood glue, screws, bolts, nails, so it's very strong. For Moly panels, I am running the 4R Customs Moly panel. They have a version 1 and a version 2. This is the version 2. It has an angle, so it sits a little bit more flush to the side of the inside of the truck, which I like. Helps keep the cabin feeling, but also just actually a lot more available. I really have loved my Moly panels because I can keep my recovery gear, and I have my Arab hoses and the hammock on my other one on the other side of the truck. But it's helped keep the truck a lot more clean and organized. But that's also why I'm able to keep the kitchen side of my truck so big. One thing I do really like about these Moly panels is there's so many different ways to hang up your gear in the Moly panel. I personally have run my Moly panels with, I do a paracord, and then I just go get like $1, it's like $1 from Home Depot, these carabiners, and then I just find a way to mount it through, or like to put it through my thing, and then I can hook it back to the Moly panel. It's a lot cheaper that way, but also it just holds my stuff and it's easy access, which is really nice. So in this truck, I am running Porsche seats. So one of my really good friends had a couple extra Porsches, which sounds as crazy as that sounds. And I asked him for the seats out of one of them, so he gave me the seats out of his Porsche, and I built a custom bracket. I have the full function of these Porsche seats other than the memory, and I have the heaters wired up to these things as well, and they're incredibly comfortable. I'm very happy with how these Porsche seats run in my car. They make road trips a whole lot better. Wheeling is a different experience. Definitely would recommend doing a seat swap. I did do a manual transfer case swap on my 4Runner. These things come all-wheel drive all the time, and there's a few reasons I did this. My transfer case was fine. It was actuating very quickly. I wasn't mad about that at all. But I wanted to have 2-wheel drive, and I actually gained like 2 miles to the gallon with this manual transfer case swap, which I was really stoked about. The 2-wheel drive is nice. Engaging neutral is also super nice, so I can flat tow it if I need to. But I'm really stoked about this manual transfer case. It's been absolutely awesome. Some of the other interior upgrades that I've done is sound deadening and heat insulation. I bought Killmat on Amazon. It was like 75 bucks to do the whole truck. And I sound deadened the whole truck, which is a huge benefit. Help quiet the road noise from the tires, from other people's tires, which is very real. I didn't realize how real that was. And it honestly made the truck just feel a little bit more luxury, which I liked. I am running a Boss Audio Systems head unit. I believe it's like the 10.5 inch or something like that. I did like the oversized screen for a few reasons. I did like being able to use the screen pretty easily when I'm driving without it being too much of a distraction because the icons are huge. I don't have to look for anything. I also think it helped bring a modern feel to the truck, but also maintaining kind of the older classic style and even older reliability, if you will. Right now I'm running the ARB twin compressor. I built a custom plate for it, so I actually have it mounted under the hood in my truck. I did it that way so that way when people are in my truck and I air up, I'm not disturbing everybody in the cab of the truck. It's wired up to my Vos switch panel, so I could turn it on and off on my switch panel, which is really nice. It looks really clean. I run the Morphlate 4-way tire air up kit, so I can air up all 4 of my tires at the same time. The 35's take a little while to air up, but I mean, it's really not that bad, maybe 5-7 minutes. Because I usually air down to, if I'm rock crawling, I'm usually down between like 6 and 9, which I know sounds crazy if I'm not bead locked. If I'm on a trail, I'm usually down to 15 to 17. As a battery, I am running an interstate battery that I actually picked up from Costco. I walked into the Costco, said, hey, I just want the biggest battery that you guys sell. And he was like, you're an Overlander, aren't you? And I was like, more or less. So I grabbed the biggest battery that they sell at Costco, and it's been absolutely fantastic. I've only been running it for a couple months, but I've never been able to kill it. I accidentally left my heated seats on, both of them on for like 3 hours. Car fired right up. Where with my old Duralast battery, if I left my heated seat on for like 20 minutes, it would kill my truck and I wouldn't be able, I'd have to get jump started. So I definitely would recommend just running to Costco and just getting a huge interstate battery. It's half the price of anything else you'll get anywhere else. Hey guys, thanks for sticking with us through this walk around video on my 2006 Toyota 4Runner. Again, my name is James. You guys can find me on Instagram at James Ridding. We'll have a link in the bio. But go ahead and follow me on Instagram so you guys can keep up with me on all my adventures and project updates on this build.